Hi guys, you're live with Talks with T, and I'm with my guest Abbey today.
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about women's safety and basically just how it affects girls and young women. Due to the work that we both do, we are generally working with young people all the time, and there are so many stories and scenarios of where the women that we work with, even the women that we our
No.
friends
Yeah.
and know and our families, these are kind of stories that are shared all the time, just about, the kind of injustice that women feel in society and just the different scenarios that they've experienced. Myself, untold, untold, untold negative experiences. But, and that's literally ranging from being really young and still now being
Yeah,
an
I was gonna
adult.
say it doesn't stop, does it? It's the whole once you're born with a vagina, that's it. It's like you got this target over your head, and there's nothing in this life that could ever prepare you for being a woman. You know, there's nothing because you step out of your house, you can feel as comfortable as you like in your own home, and as soon as you step out of your house, within 20 seconds, guarantee you feel uncomfortable. And it doesn't matter where you are. This is doesn't matter what country you're in, what area you live in. There is always something, whether it's a sexual thing or a sex thing, as in being a female, or it's just a race and sex thing. Being a woman comes with a lot of burden.
It does. It does. It does. Just trying to even just think of even one scenario from being young, just even when you're out and I'm trying to think of earlier memory, even just being at a party or something, and you're there with olders that you don't know, obviously with family it's friends of family, and there's so many people, or cousins and uncles or aunts that you've never met, and you've been introduced, oh, by the way, this is your cousin, or
Yeah,
this
or
is
this
your
your
auntie,
uncle.
and you're like, oh, hi. But then because you've not got that bond or connection when you've grown up, sometimes there's a different energy where you could be out and then someone's looking at you a bit left and you're like, yeah, that's not really appropriate. What's going on?
Yeah, or the uncles, because this is your uncle, and then oh, come shake my hand,
Yeah.
and you get a little finger. The finger thing.
Oh, don't,
The middle.
don't,
Yeah,
don't even make me
yeah,
cringe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Things
mean,
like that.
yeah, that, and anyone who doesn't know that, I think you're very fortunate. If you've never had that experience, it's very fortunate. And I was telling someone the other day what it meant because they didn't know what it meant. I was like, when they do the finger thing, and they're like, "What you talking about?" I was like, "The finger thing." They had no idea. I was like, "Give me your hand," and even though that, and I said, "Exactly." I was like, "Do you know what that means?" And she's like, "No." And when I told her, she was like, "Oh my god, I remember uncles doing this." It's like, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a little.
What does it mean?
It's like
Yeah.
it's.
I want to
There's
sleep
no.
with you.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
in putting it
Like I
in
want
the
you
straight
sexually.
Oh, okay.
Like
You know.
yeah.
And there are people that have experienced that, do you know what I mean? But it could be anything, just a little look, or just, or certain conversations that are inappropriate, or even showing a video
Yeah.
that is inappropriate, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not that person that you should be showing that to, where I'm this age or that age,
Or just
find the
we are
balance.
not on that same level. I had a colleague who asked me if I wanted to see, he was telling me about his health issues, to put it politely, and he had blood in his fecal matter. You're asking me, do I want to see the picture of this? Why?
Wow.
Why do I need to see the picture? Why would you even ask?
Yeah,
Like
that's...
the picture should only be for the doctor, right? For when you're talking to the doctor. Why should you have to ask? Do you think this? And it was a male. Do you think he asked any any male members of staff if they wanted to see the picture?
Yeah, likely not, because they would probably just been that would have got shut down straight away.
Yeah. And it turned out there was a whole lot more going on behind the scenes with pictures and him, and it was a girls' school. So, again, there is no safe space.
There is it. This is even speaking to some of my children's friends, or just even in general girls, when they're out and about, and they're getting catcalled and things like that, or they're getting inappropriate looked at, and they're feeling some type of way because they're like, I'm young, why is a big man with a full beard looking at me or trying to engage in some level of conversation?
Inappropriate conversation. We have nothing in common. You see a 30-year-old guy with a 19-year-old girl, what do you have in common? Like outside of the bedroom, what do you have in common? Like, what activities do you both do? I mean, you can't even drink legally. You can't even buy alcohol. Why would a grown man be interested in somebody who's actually a child? You're 19. You're still a child. Yeah. But it happens.
No, it does happen. But I'm just like, I just don't what is going through certain individuals' heads when they're actually engaging in this behaviour. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, how do girls and women really handle that? Because it can be quite scary. It's intimidating. Don't get me wrong, there are women that can handle their stuff, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're going to get the outcome that they were expecting by responding like that.
I know. Do you know what it is? As you're saying it, I'm thinking part of it is coming out of your house like, well, today I'm prepared to die. as extreme as that may be, because you have to almost take it to that level to be able to protect yourself, because you do not know what you are faced with. When you're looking at your outfit in the mirror before you leave the house, you want to check and look to make sure that you are covered in a way that, and you know what? As long as I can remember, every time I've worn an outfit, I'm thinking, can I make a fast escape? Can I defend myself in this outfit if I need to?
My children laugh at me all the time. I even bought some shoes the other day and I do all the whole kicking and the running. Yeah. And they're like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because I need to know that I can move. Like, if anything happens. And then it's like, when I'm explaining that, I'm thinking, but I shouldn't have to think about those things. I should be able to go to the shop, buy my outfit, look in the mirror, I look nice, and leave. Not think, okay, can I run? Can I
defend myself? Yeah.
Can I do this? Like, you shouldn't have to think like that. And this is
the reality. This is the reality that we live in. And we're not kids. No. We're grown. We are grown women. But still today, when you come out of your house, you still got to think, how do I want to be perceived by the male species? No, not by people, but by the male species. How do I want to be perceived? Am I looking in a way that's going to give any signs away? Do you know what I mean? It's like, when a woman gets sexually assaulted, what were you wearing? What the fuck has that got to do with shit? If I decide I want to come out my house naked, that's my prerogative. It doesn't give you the right to then think that, oh, I'm a piece of meat. It's like when I worked in the girls' school, and the girls, and they would roll up their skirts, like, crotch level. And I would always ask them, because they'll complain about, oh, man, this teacher's such a pervert, this man's such a pervert. It's like, well, do you see yourself as a piece of chicken? Like, are you displaying a chicken and chip shop? No, why would you think that? Because you've got all thigh and leg on display. You're putting all thigh and leg on display, and really, I shouldn't have to have this conversation, because I wore short skirts. I dressed like Britney Spears, in the Baby One More Time. I had a short grey skirt. I wore socks up to here. I wore, back then, they were called fuck me boots, but I didn't know that, and I know you know what I'm talking about, and they lace up at the front, with the big heel, And that's what I wore to school in the 90s.
Wow.
And, like, it was, I wasn't trying to do Centrinians. This is before Centrinians. Yeah, this was just what you wore to school. It wasn't sexy. Because I was 13 years old. What the fuck do I know about what sexy is? I don't know what sexy is. I think I look cute.
But then this is the thing, it's like you should be able to go out like that, but then at the same time you are going to have that level of attention where you are going to be looked at, you are going to be watched, you are going to be sexualized. And it's like, where is the balance? Like, how do we get past that? Because even as a woman, if you see someone that is, practically half naked, it's not even looking at a woman in a sexualized way, but it catches your attention.
Yeah.
So
and you're female.
And you're female. So it's like, how do we get past this barrier? Is it a case where it's like, okay, do we not look at someone if we can visually see that they're underage? Like, it's not, I'm not saying I'm trying to make excuses, but it's like, it can be difficult for your eyes not to look if your attention is taken away, but then at the same time,
you know what, we're all gonna look, yeah, but are you gonna touch? No. It's like, think about food. Like, remember baby food? It's food, yeah, and if you were in a situation, you could eat that and survive. But out of choice, are you going to eat that? So you're in the shop, there's baby food, there's your adult food there. You're going to see the baby food, you're going to look at it, but your mind's going to go straight to, that's baby food. And you're going to see it as food, but your mind's, that's not for me. So your mind takes you to somewhere else.
Gonna need chicken.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a bit more solid. So, and for me, it's like that. I saw a young girl at the train station. Actually, no, she wasn't a young girl. I saw a girl at the train station from the back with a skirt that was like knicker level. And I thought, Lord, you're in Brixton? But then I turned around and I saw her face, and I felt more comfortable because I saw she was grown. So it made me feel more comfortable. But you see, I switched up my mind. Because when I see young girls, like when I see young girls in their short skirts going to school and, you know, they've got the bag and it's pulling up, I will tell you, your bag is pulling up your skirt. And I'll watch you walk and people look at you and no one's telling you. And then you're going to complain that the world isn't safe for our daughters and such. But when you have the opportunity to look after a young person, you're not going to, because, oh, I don't want to seem like this or that and the other. Like, there has to be where people know how to, like, this is a young person. Young people dress like this, you know? But it doesn't mean to say they're for the taking, but it's also down to parents making sure that their 12-year-old and them are not shopping in the same places. Because why is a 12-year-old shopping on Shein?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing, with everything, we have access to absolutely everything. And unfortunately, some parents think it's cute that their children have access to social media. You know, they've got, when you see like an 11-year-old with TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, I don't even know what else is out there. But those three alone, I know for a fact you can order drugs on Snapchat at any age. You can watch porn on Snapchat at any age. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are so many things you can do on Snapchat. So many things. And now Instagram as well, with the phone calls and this and that. And I know they say an age thing, but how are you going to check people's ages?
Yeah. You're not going to be able to check their ages all the time.
No. Parents need to take accountability as well. Because it's also from what you are taught. Do you know what I mean? And as horrible as it is, and I remember telling my son, my older son when he was younger, the reason why I need you to walk next to me is because there are people out there who will hurt you because you are a child.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible thing to have to teach your children, you know, and some people don't want to teach their children these things. I saw someone commenting on a thing on Facebook, on Instagram today, about the world is safer than you people realise. Put down your phones and get out there in the world. And I was thinking, this coming from a person, I looked at their profile, and you paste your children all over social media. And the post that you're replying to is about how the dangers of posting your children on social media, how someone can just take their image and do whatever they want with it. And you're saying the world is a lot safer than people realise, when you've just seen a video that shows you how easy it is for a predator to take your child's image and sell that on the black market. Do you know what I mean?
But then a lot of the times, if it doesn't directly affect people, they don't really think about it as well.
And I think that's part of the problem, because a lot of men don't. And, you know, I mean, if you want to get cheeky about it, we could ask trans women, because you were a man once, so you must have the answers. What's the answer? Because you were a man once, so what's the answer?
But then even that, you know, even talking about trans people in that regard, that then may open up experiences for them to actually have to empathise or sympathise with women, because they're going to get that kind of attention. I saw a TikTok the other day about a guy was hollering at a woman, well, a trans man, and he realised that he was a man, and he kind of was like, oh, like
when he turned around,
when he turned around and said,
hey, yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like, you can clearly see that
that's
someone
an advantage that a trans person has, because you're like, yo,
exactly, but
dude.
then it's come down to that, like even speaking to young girls, you know, if you remember back in the day, you're out of the club or whatever, you don't want certain attention, you'd lie and say you're gay and you're with your best friend, and now it's my girlfriend, like type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and even just that, even to have to go to that degree to be able to kind of swat off men is a bit insane. And thing is now, even that's kind of been overused, because now the response is that, oh, well, I don't mind, what, your girl can join. Do you know what I mean? So there's always an answer. So the next level now that a lot of young girls and women have gone to is that I'm a man. I used to be a man.
Yeah.
And we might laugh and joke about it, and it sounds funny, but at the same time, why should we have to lie and go to extremes to tell someone that I'm not interested?
I know. I mean, I don't know if you remember the acid phase, when it was like, be careful when you don't give your number to a guy if he's approaching you on the street, because they're throwing acid in women's faces. And it's just like, if I like you, you must like me. You must like me back. But when I'm done with you, don't give me no grief and let me just dispose of you. It's like, because of this whole, you know, things like, what's that? Tinder.
And Hinge and all of them.
And the swiping, not even Hinge, like, you know, Tinder and the swiping. It's so, you know, it's like window shopping, and there is no value in people as being people. So a lot of guys think that they can just pick up and put down and pick up and put down, and people live in a social media world, and guys think women should come with this and this, and they don't have to really come with much to match a woman. Like, a woman needs to come with all this and that and the other before they'll even consider her. And then when they do, how they want to treat her, and that is all completely up to them. And she has to go along with it. If I want to disrespect you, I'm going to disrespect you. Don't be asking me all these questions. Don't be doing something. And it's just like, you're meant to be my peace. You're meant to be my peace. Do you know what I mean? Most people who get sexually assaulted, it's by somebody they know.
100%. And, you know, it's not, you know, we've been kind of fed that narrative where, you know, it's strange. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are, you know, isolated cases where, you know, you do hear in the paper and the news that someone's been kidnapped and they've been brutally assaulted and things like that. You do hear it. But, you know, in terms of the majority, anyone that has experienced any sexual abuse, whether it's molestation or rape, you know, a lot of the time, as you said, it has come from someone they know. It could be family, it could be friends, you know, but literally it is within the circle that people do know them. And that then in itself makes it very difficult, because it kind of messes your brain up in a way, because you're not mentally prepared to understand what has happened, because you've not been told that this could happen. Do you understand? So when it does happen, it's confusing. It's like, this person's showing me love, or this person's meant to care about me or keep me safe, but then they've done this. So how do I deal with this now? How do I navigate? How do I tell another person without causing issues? It's a lot.
But you know what? Before you even you can't even tell yourself what happened, because you literally do not have the vocabulary yet to actually describe what's, like, if someone said to you, explain to me in detail what they did, like, you can't.
You can't, because you don't know. You just know that something's happened that your body has told you is wrong. But you can't explain why or what. You can't.
No. You know, and it's what it does to you. It's from my own personal experience, coming from a very abusive sexual background, it really messes with you. It messes with you. It messes with you and your identity. It messes with you and your whole being, in the sense of you don't know how to navigate through life. You don't know who to trust, because the people you were meant to trust did this to you. So does this mean that this is how you have to be with men now, because this is what you're supposed to do, because from a young age the person who's supposed to be looking after you has been doing this to you, and they tell you that they love you, so is this how you then get love? And a lot of these girls with high body count, so to speak, a lot of them, the promiscuousness comes from abuse trauma. A lot of it comes from abuse trauma, you know. So it's not because, oh, we're freaky or no, it's because this is what your body has been trained to do. And if you've been sexually abused from a very young age, one of your worst fears is for it to happen when you are fully aware, like as an adult, and you get sexually assaulted as an adult. That is one of your worst fears. So you will try and do everything in your power to prevent that. I wanted to be a boy. If I was born today,
I went for a bit of penis envy, I'm not gonna lie.
I dressed like a boy. Have you seen me in a dress?
Have you seen me in a dress?
Once. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? It's like, when my breast started growing, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. And I was just telling my sister today about when I lived in Ghana, and the mannequin, oh, you're developing nicely, and flipped my breast through my t-shirt. I went home and I told my dad, and my dad told my cousin, go and tell him, don't touch my daughter. He banned me from his kiosk because I got him in trouble. He was only trying to be nice and trying to be my friend. I was 10 years old. That was a grown man. We are not friends. We can't be friends. Who went away feeling bad? Me. I went away feeling like I had done something wrong. You know,
because it's all the negative energy then around you, and I'll watch that one and this one. It's like, even in my experiences, it's like my first experience when I even spoke out about things, like my family, literally, I was like the liar of the family. I was like, you know, watch that one, or, you know, if someone left their partner in the room, you know what I mean? It wasn't being like, oh, watch the partner, it'd be like, watch her. And I'd just be like, I've experienced this, like, why am I then being punished on top of something that I didn't ask for? I didn't ask for this experience, but here we are.
And now it's your fault.
But now it's my fault
It's your
now.
fault.
So it's like I didn't, I avoided anything that was remotely feminine. I always covered up. I always wore hats. I didn't wear
Oh
makeup.
my god! So you did the hat things.
I did
did
the hat thing
You
always.
like bending it real and have it real low,
Literally.
innit? Yeah.
Literally would
Yeah.
cover my face.
Yeah.
Didn't want any attention. And
Yeah.
I used to get really upset because it didn't matter how much I tried to hide my femininity, I still got a level of attention.
Yeah.
So it was just like a vicious circle. It's like, what do then I do? Because where I'm dressing how I'm dressing now, it's been seen that I'm cool. You're cool now. Do you understand? So it's like you've gone from being sexualized to then being part of the mandem that
But
could
not
at some
necessarily in a
point
healthy way,
be
though.
sexualized. Do you understand? At some point.
Because you're not going to take offense because you ain't one of them type of girls. You know what I mean? It's you, innit? And look at you, and it's like, and then, undercover agents then start to show themselves, and you're like...
And sometimes it's hierarchy as well. Like, I remember a situation, I was dating, like, my early days of dating. Actually, not even dating, like, my very first boyfriend. And there was a situation where we was all chilling together, and his friend was trying to move to me. But because he felt some type of way because of the hierarchy amongst the group, instead of him going to his friend like, yo, that's my girl, or he had to go at me. So I'm sitting here confused thinking, rah, like, you're supposed to defend me.
Yeah.
But because you don't want no passa with your friend, you're going to then take it out on me and make me look like I'm the dickhead.
And all you're doing is being there.
And all I'm doing is being there. So you see what I'm saying? So sometimes even amongst men, they don't even feel they can even be in a position to protect women because they're not in a position to speak up, or they're at the they're at the bottom of the kind of food chain type of thing.
Or they're with their boys because when I was I think I was working in school, and in the newspaper, and I saw that, and it will stay with me. It will haunt me forever because it was just so. It was horrible. It happened in Hackney. I can't remember what school, but somewhere near around Mare Street, and this girl, bless her, this girl was with a guy. He was affiliated with gangs, or he was part of a gang. Can't remember, and her best friend didn't like him. And when she broke up with the guy blamed the best friend because, she never liked him. So it's, she got into her friend's head and that. So he came for her one day after school. Yeah, and he coaxed her into coming with him or whatever. Had someone else waiting. Yeah, and they took her through, I think it's Jack Dunn Estates. And they were sexually assaulting her. And do you know the sad part? People were coming in and out of the building, so they had to move through buildings because no one helped her, by the way. No one helped. She's in school uniform. And then they were dragging her, to their their house, and one of the guys who was involved, they gang raped him. One of the guys who was involved, she knew him from when she was at nursery. Remember, this is secondary school, so she's known him since she was nursery. She begged him for help, and this is what it said in the newspaper: I can't help you now. I'm with my boys.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And that stuck with me because I really, really felt that, because it's just like, when it all came out with me, there was nobody I could turn to. My dad turned around and said to me, but why didn't you say something at the time? Bitch, you left me in the house when I was 2 months old.
What do you want
What do you want me to do? And he goes, but you wanted to go back there. Because that was the only house that I knew. This was the only home I had.
And this is the narrative I got with my first, kind of open experience when things came out. It was like, why didn't you say anything? Why did you continue to go there? And I was like, but that was my safe space, even though it wasn't my safe space. It was like, where else was I kind of supposed to go? And like, even going back to when you were saying about the young girl, that situation that happened in Hackney, it's like, through experience that happened to me when I was 15. So I was gang raped when I was 15. So it was a case where, for me at that time when it happened, I'm thinking, it's your boys. But what is going through these men's mind at the time when you lot are taking
on a child?
Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm thinking, how, like, for me personally, like, what is mine is mine. So the thought of me sleeping with someone or having sex with someone, and then my friend then it's like me high-fiving my friend to then go and do
how are you getting your dick even hard for this type of situation anyway?
There has to be something
neurologically
wrong, because I just think, how could you get excited about that? How could you even think that is okay? It doesn't make sense.
But you know what? The same people, if you were to say, oh, but your mum, watch what will happen to you if you cuss any of these people's mothers. But your mum's a hodo. But your mum's don't be coming after my mom. I'm gonna do. But then you're gonna go and fucking rape a teenager with that same energy, Yeah, with that same energy, you're gonna go and rape a teenager. But then if I, the victim, want to say, well, I'm gonna get my son to do that to your mum, you're gonna come after me. You're gonna come after my son. But it's okay for you to do that to me.
And it's hard as well. And I think looking at certain situations, you think, oh, you know, men may not see certain situations as that they've taken it too far because of women may not be kicking and screaming and fighting away. But a lot of the time, in situations, I've spoken to a lot of women, and a lot of women said to me, you know, they've ended up sleeping with certain people just to avoid the drama, just to avoid the headache. And I'm like, but that's not okay. Like, I ended it up. I can put my hands up saying I've been in them situations myself.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, just get it over and done with. Do you know what I mean? So I haven't got to deal with no stress.
Yeah.
But how you feel after it's like, what
This is when you want to curl into fetal position and just
the
cry.
hell? So because there are scenarios where women may act in that way where they don't kind of fight, it's almost telling men in a way that it's consented,
okay.
that it's okay.
But do you remember we had
it's
this
not.
conversation at work? And
So I'm like, how can you sleep with a girl or with a woman looking at them knowing that they're not enjoying it?
porn?
Like,
Porn.
and this is what and I'm glad you brought up porn, because that gives such a negative view, an unrealistic view of how intimacy should be. You know, there are a lot.
Intimacy is intimacy, sex is sex. They're not.
But that's what it is. It's sex without the intimacy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even want to call it sex. For me, I don't even call it. It's fucking.
Getting your dick wet.
It's just fucking. Yeah. It's just straight. It's nothing. You know, there's no
no
love.
connection,
There's no nothing.
nothing.
And it's made it very, very hard for women. You know, as you grow up, you go through puberty, and it's like you're having to learn your body changes, and you know, there's so much for you to kind of compare your body to. You know, your boobs are not the right way. You go through that awkward stage where they look like cones and you're feeling, is there something wrong with me? But it's the truth. It's the truth. And people don't talk about these things because there's teenagers that are thinking there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're just developing. It takes time.
You know, or it's the other way, because a guy hasn't, you know, especially when they're at school, because the boy hasn't noticed them, but they're noticing that girl over there with the breasts and the makeup and the what them thing called eyelashes and all of that, and he's noticing her. Be grateful that he's not noticing you, because you still get to have a level of freedom that not a lot of people have, and once it's gone, it's gone. And this is what girls, females don't realize. Once it's gone, it's gone. Hold on to that for as long as you can. And it's not about holding on to your virginity and all of this, that and the other. No, it's about holding on to the fact that, you know what, I'm able to be free right now. People are not looking at me in that way right now, so I can kind of do what I want to do right now.
And that's what I'm saying, take your time, because you know there are, you know, you go through those kind of like awkward stages, you know, where you might see, as you said, you're going to have certain friends that developed a lot quicker than you, and you're going to feel some type of way thinking, all right, all the guys are kind of, you know, giving my friends all the attention and not me. Like, I went through it. Do you know what I mean? I was skinny-ish. I'm still skinny, but I was skinny as shit when I was a kid. No one looked at me. Do you know what I mean? It was just like a little pole, you know, and I used to feel some type of way, feeling like, maybe this, that and the other. And,
Do you ever used to think that when you grew, when you get older, the body will come when you're older?
Yeah.
Because that's what I used to think. Like, I was like you, like, this is the biggest I've ever been. And like, I used to get laughed at for being so small. And I used to sing My Little Pony, Skinny and Bony, just like someone I know. And you heard that one, isn't it? Yeah, I remember that one. And it used to, my socks used to fucking fall down. Like, I was very, 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 very small. And I always used to think, oh, look at these girls. And like, how do they look like that? And even when I worked at the secondary school, a lot of the girls, by the time they hit year 9, were bigger than me, more developed than me. Like, they looked like they had about 3 or 4 children.
And this is the problem, not even the problem as well, and this is what makes it hard in society, that, you know, women develop, or young girls develop at so many different stages. So you have 13 girls that may have already fully developed and look like they have a woman of a body, but they don't. So they are, bless them, getting the attention from big men because they look a certain way. And just because a woman looks a certain way doesn't mean that they're prepared for your attention. Like, do you understand? Like, come on.
Like, before you approach, even, you just got to ask the woman, like, can I talk to you? That's just because people, you don't know what people are going through. When you see people walking down the street, you have no idea where they're coming from, what they're going through, where they're going to. You don't know anything. So to just put your shit on them and expect them to handle it with grace and fairness, you're asking too much. You're asking way too much. You first of all got to find out, is this situation, like, can I even talk to you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember back in those. You see, this is why we are the way we are. Do you remember our music videos and movies back? Yo, can I talk to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you remember Joe and all that, you know, like when your man's not and Joe will be singing to you and all of that. And you're like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Listening to SWV, Missy Elliott, you know what I mean? Empowerment of women and all this and that and the other. And it's like, yeah, I feel sorry for this young generation.
It is,
because they ain't got nobody.
There is no positive representation. Like, don't be wrong. Like, we did have a lot of the artists that were sexualized, like Foxy Brown, Little Kim, but it was still bossy.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It was bossy.
Like, look at Khalees when she came out with boss.
Yeah,
like,
it was
wasn't...
like you owned it. But now I find a lot of the women now in the music industry, it's like, you've just got body, you've got a load of makeup on your face, and it just screams.
Not your body, it's
it screams
body.
Insecurity.
Yes.
It just screams insecurity. So you're just allowing this next generation of women, like you know what I mean. I'm all for girl empowerment and female power, but you know, kind of
make it make sense.
Make it make sense, because it's a bit.
It don't make sense when you're sitting there telling somebody, be proud of who you are, be proud of your small titties, your flat belly. When you're telling them, be proud of all of that, but then you're gonna go and pay to get your bum done, your breasts done, your lips done. You know, when I was younger, yeah, people hated my lips. My sister used to tell me, when you smile, you look like you got 2 slugs spread across your face. That's, you know, I'm laughing because now it's funny, but that's what she told me. Now, are people not paying enough money to have lips like mine?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all these people with all this, you know, and I'm thinking of people like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and all this and that, you know, with your IKEA bodies and that, but you're telling women to be strong and to feel empowered and you don't feel strong in your natural self, so why should I feel strong in my natural self?
And that is, but then I feel like that is why I like making a point, even like regards to myself, to try and stay as natural as I can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whether or not it's desired, whether or not it makes my dating life so much harder, but at the same time, do you know what? I have that faith that someone will love me for me, innit? And I think that that's how it has to be. Like, end of the day, we have to be grown, we have to be mature. As women, you know, you have children, your body changes. Men, our body changes when we have children. Sorry.
No,
like,
not sorry.
No, sorry.
No,
like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
like,
not
literally,
sorry.
it happens.
Because I grew
it
up,
and I shouldn't feel, I shouldn't feel some
human
type of way.
being.
Like, I grew children in me.
Yeah.
Yes, my body's stretched. Yes, I have 2 stretch marks. At the end of the day, people, stretch marks exist whether you've had children
and
or
not just on your buttocks
like...
or on your breasts, but on your stomach and your hips too.
Exactly.
And it is okay.
It is okay.
It's okay. And that's another thing, you see, the fact that we have to say that because, you know, we're told that's not sexy.
No.
You know, I remember dating a guy and being like, he's like, well, you know, I mean, I don't mind it, but obviously I'd prefer it if they weren't there. And then you expect me to be all naked and Beyonce shaking my tits and my ass for you when my belly's also jiggling, the extra skin is also jiggling with me, and you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me, I mean, I don't mind, but I prefer you wouldn't have it. Like, come on. What about you? And all the things that you have wrong with you. Am I sitting there telling you, well, I would rather you didn't have foreskin. I would rather you didn't have eczema. I would rather you didn't have this. I would rather... I'm not... No, but you know what I mean?
No, it's true. It's so... It's
you know,
so
I wish
true.
you didn't have moobs, but here we are.
It is so true.
Do you know what I mean? All these expectations, and it's only so that you can sexualize us. Do you know what I mean? Like people, a lot of people like Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, you want to talk about being strong and powerful women, but you still put yourself in a sexualized zone. If you can come out there and you see like Adele. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Adele used to sit there with her big self in all black and that weird hairstyle she used to do, which I fucking hated. Yeah, I fucking hated that weird hairstyle. You know, and people listen to her for the music. Mm-hmm. For the music. And then she went and go and did some weird surgery or lost weight. I know she said she didn't have surgery, but... And it's like, now you're sexy. So now it's not about the music.
It's almost like you don't have to try it as hard anymore.
Yeah, because, oh, I see you got a body now. Okay, I can see underneath the clothes. You remember that picture that she did? That scary picture, Carnival? Like, it was the face that scared the crap out of me. You know, it's not what you were doing, because you know what? I like it when people appreciate culture, but you got to make sure it suits you, because that didn't work for her. That didn't work for her. And, you know what I mean? The people who done that for you and took them pictures and let you post that, they ain't your friends.
They're not your friends.
Because, like, no. But now when people talking about the body, do you know what I mean? The body. So now who was it she's affiliated with? Who was the singer, somebody she was affiliated with? Like, it's cool now. Like, Skepta or somebody.
Oh, yeah,
was it Skepta?
Yeah, Skepta. Yeah.
But if it was big...
Yeah.
big her, people wouldn't be so cool. Let's be honest.
No.
People wouldn't be so cool about it.
No, they wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? Even I feel self-conscious after having a baby. My body's changed. Yeah, and it's like, and I have to tell myself, Abby, you're not living for these people. No one who cares what they think of your body? You had 2 children. If this was 1875, you would have died. Do you know what I mean? Because I had to have emergency C-section because he was too big. I would have died. So the fact that I'm here, I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk, I can function. I ain't got no colostomy bag or some shit. Do you know what I mean? I can go to the toilet. Sometimes I'm a bit late, yeah, and get in there, you know. But and everything still works.
Everything still works.
So I'm not going to allow society and men to tell me that it's not good enough because I don't live in the gym and have a 6-pack and because it's like, you're meant to have a baby, you're meant to be sexy, you're meant to be a full-time mum, you're meant to be a full-time housekeeper, you're meant to work full-time and earn as much as me so that, you know, we can be joint equals. And what do you have to do? Go to work.
Go to work and cook up your food.
Yeah.
Basically.
You know, it's fucking hard being a woman. That's why I get vexed with the trans people who you've just been a woman for 24 fucking hours and you're saying all this and that needs to change. We've been fighting since the beginning of time, since white European men decided that a woman's place is way behind them, yeah, because they want to talk about Muslims and a woman being behind the man. Nah, forget that. We got to talk about how the white Europeans created that whole, the women are below the men. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm African and women were warriors. Women would fight. Do you know what I mean? Y'all sent was like my heroine, like she gangster. And then I'm being told because I'm a woman, I've got to sit down, I've got to be quiet, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And it's just like... And
that's the thing. It's like, even though we're growing like a different generation of women where we want them to kind of stand up for themselves, but as you know, it comes with that conflict because we want to be able to be powerful, we want to be able to speak up, but then there are a few individuals, and I don't want to make this about, you know, demonizing all men, but the majority, and because there's been so many scenarios of experiences where women have had to literally like defend themselves or be creative with defending themselves in so many different scenarios. It's ridiculous.
It is. And it's like revenge porn. That's guys who do that. Like, why do you feel the need to shame a woman in the lowest form possible? Like why?
And that's another, and that's another thing, you know, that even, you know, women and young people are still even experiencing, because I remember like going back maybe about 10 years, it was like rife. It was like a lot of things going on, you know, people using their photos to bribe them in things and stuff like that. And even though there is a lot of information and there's a lot of things out there now to kind of inform young people in general and just people in general, there's people that still get fallen into the trap.
Do you know what it is? Do you know, I think there's not enough self-love and there is not enough like support for biological women. And what I mean by support is there is not enough people speaking up and giving women a safe space to speak openly and honestly, because as a woman, like all them swimmers, if they decided to speak out about the trans people being the trans person on the team, they weren't going to be able to swim anymore, something like that. There was a whole thing, and it's like our voices are again getting silenced. You know, and it's not just with the trans thing. Like, I mean, I love everybody. Like, do you, and as long as you're not hurting anybody in the process, do you. But don't take it upon yourself to take up other people's spaces.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then again, it's still taking up the space in regards to a man in that way, because even though physically you may have gone through the stages of like changing yourself to be a female, you still have the setup of a man. You still have the genetic makeup of a man.
Because you're a man.
Exactly. So, you know, in that way, that can also be seen as another attack, or as you say, like another form of attack on women.
It is, and it makes you not feel safe. I mean, can you imagine? How many stories have you heard of women going into the toilet and there's a trans... I don't know when it's a woman or a man. There's a trans person in there, yeah, with a penis. Like, going toilet with the door open or something. And it's like... They think it's well, I'm a woman. What they don't understand is, you know what, a woman using that toilet today might have been sexually assaulted yesterday by a man, and she sees you, a man, in a female space. Like you may feel you identify as a woman, but you're in a space that has been designed for biological women. And you have to be saying, you know what, okay, because that's what we as women do. You and I have sat and we have spoken about our traumas, and I hate Trump on thing, like ill. But we had bonded over that because I said to you, oh my God, you're the first person who, and it's really horrible what I said, but that has been through the same type of nasty ass abuse it wasn't a one-time thing. Do you know what I mean? It's encounters over years, and it's really horrible. But it was, it's one of them sticky ones. And so it's like, if you're a trans person in them type of situations, rather than getting vexed and angry and looking at yourself, think about why the woman is saying this, where she is coming from, because when you have been through that, it's like how you and I see the world be very different to somebody who's, mummy and daddy, or even just but you've never had that type of thing or experience happen to you. Your outlook on the world may be very, very, very different. When I'm sitting on the bus and someone comes to sit next to me and there are seats available, I will look around and I get up and I move. Because why are you sitting next to me? Do you know what I mean? Like, I have my keys that are in a way that it can be used as a knuckle duster if it needs to be. I've got my rape alarm. I don't carry small umbrellas. I like to carry big umbrellas. Every woman knows how to hold their keys in their hand. Like, boys are not taught this. I never taught my son any of this growing up. None of this growing up. But these are things that we have to teach our girls just because the world isn't safe. It's not even from sexual predators. Muggings. Like kidnapping, so many things. You're a target just because you are a woman. Do you know what I mean? When you're a man and you're about to have sex with a woman, make sure that she is in the same space mentally as you, because your body will react physically, but it don't mean to say that you're
up here.
Yeah, it's getting through. And it took me a really long time to come out with that, and it was in the last therapist that I had after I had this baby. And I said to her, I've never told anybody this because the shame that I feel. I was like, when the abuse was happening when I was older, like coming into my teens, my body enjoyed it. And I felt really weird saying that because I didn't enjoy it mentally. Like afterwards, the shame.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think it is part of the trauma as well, and it's your body protecting itself so there's no damage.
Yeah.
And I think like doing a lot of reading, obviously through my experiences, I've done a lot of reading and tried to do a lot of healing therapy and things like that. So what I've gathered from that and kind of digging in, that kind of going through that process, is that it is a form, it's basically your body protecting yourself so it doesn't get damaged in that situation. But as you say, it can be confusing to the person who's doing it because they could see it as like, well, you're enjoying it.
Yeah, because your body is,
because your body's reacting.
Yeah.
But no, my body's reacting because I don't want to get damaged.
Basically.
Or my body's in that kind of trauma mode where it knows what's happening.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is when you've been through that trauma, like after the first couple of times, you are so good at switching off your brain and going somewhere else. And like you have to, you live half and half 1 foot in this world, half foot in another world. And you think it's going to be better or easier when you grow up because, you're going to be an adult, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be able to defend yourself. And it's really sad because it doesn't.
I think it's really hard because I don't think sometimes you realise until you get older or certain experiences of how certain things affect you until certain things happen. So, for example, I was intimate with someone and they held a certain area and I freaked. And I didn't realise until I was in that situation. And I was like, oh, and I was like, I'm really, really sorry. But it was like, it threw me. So I didn't even know how to explain that situation because I thought, that's not happened before. Do you understand? Yeah. So until certain things happen, you don't actually really know how
you're going to respond
or going to react to it. Like, it took me a very, very long time even to be able to climax because of certain situations. I went through, when I started to become sexually active through choice, sexually active through choice.
When I became like a chosen non-virgin, like when I decided, when it was my choice, sorry.
It's like I didn't like, all my friends used to be so excited. And I think, what is the hype about? I don't understand what everyone's talking about because it's not happening to me. So I used to think I was just broken. I used to feel, like maybe it just won't happen for me. So I probably didn't really enjoy sex probably until I was in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I don't know, like, when did I remember the first time I legally had sex. And it was like, do you know Lee Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is not a great story, you know. It was behind Lee Valley. I was 16. It was behind Lee Valley. There was a fun fair there, and I liked this fun fair boy. Like his name was Liam, and I liked him. You know, like I think it was 2 days I've been talking to this guy, and you didn't do the mobile chat thing. You just went to go meet them, you know. And then he took me behind the ghost train, and laid me down, and I didn't know this was coming.
Okay.
I didn't say no. I just allowed it to happen. Afterwards, I thought, what the fuck did you just do? Do you know what I mean? And I remember going home, right? And look, because I remember people saying, right, this is my delusion. What I'm going to say is very delusional, but so when I got home, I ran and I checked my knickers to see if there was blood in my knickers, because people were saying
that there's blood,
yeah, when you lose your virginity. And I wanted to believe that all that sexual trauma wasn't real and that I'd made it up. Like, I swear to God. And when there was nothing in my knickers, and you know, I honestly thought maybe it takes a minute. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever came. I didn't have any pain. I wasn't sore or anything, you know. And the reality of the situation is, you know, the hymen it's not there for you, baby girl. It's gone long time. It's gone long time. Do you know what I mean? No matter wishing and praying, it ain't gonna bring it back, you know. And I remember thinking that was so easy. What are people worried about? Yeah, like people, it was just, and it wasn't a case of whether or not I enjoyed it. No, it was just easy. It was just, and I honestly thought, you know what? If a guy wants sex, you can't say no, because I remember one time, like, as a child, maybe trying to defend myself, and it didn't work. Like, do you know what I mean? And so I kind of learned that, you know what, this is your purpose. If it's one person and it's a one-time thing, it's different. But when it happens again and again and again over years, and it's different people, I felt like that was my space. Like, this is what I do. As in, you know, I became so freaking good at sex because I thought that's going to get me attention. That's going to get me love. And I honestly thought, like, you know, the way to love is through the vagina, through sex. And, like, guys have this way, and this is another thing that make women unsafe: vulnerability. When you're a vulnerable woman, it's like this like, you know, when you're
it's like something's just out there. Oh, I was literally got excited. Something is out there. It's just like,
when you're vulnerable, the amount of attention that you get from men,
and you're
is
feeling some type of way,
mad.
thinking, I am going through a madness right now. I feel like shit, but what? All of a sudden, just wow.
I would go out and I'd get men. Like, the first time I went out and I wore a dress, I remember my friend, she took me out to a club, and like, I'd been raving drum and bass when I was younger, but, you know, I wore my jeans, you know, I didn't do girly. So the first time, and she took me to a club, and I wore a dress. And you remember Font Hill? I got my dress from Font Hill, so, you know, it was under £10. And I got shoes, you know, and it was the first time I wore a dress. And I remember the dress, and it was, you know, when dresses used to be like, slash it, with little spaghetti straps, and I felt so cute.
This felt so hot.
But I felt also so foreign and so weird and so strange, because I'm in a dress, and I honestly felt like a mannequin on display. And I had never gotten so much attention in my life. I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know what to do with that. And I remember meeting a security guy from the thingy. Richard. I remember his name was Richard. He was Irish. Beautiful accent. Not that night. But I remember sleeping with Richard in the club. And I'm just like, did I want to do that? No. I didn't want to. But I felt like I had to do it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes saying no is scarier, because you might just take it from me anyway, and that could be a whole
different issue.
Yeah,
definitely.
You know, so.
But what is that? What is that kind of thing where it is for women sometimes, when you just feel that kind of obligation? It is almost like an obligation to kind of give it up, when your brain is like, yeah, I'm not really into this person, but they were nice to me. And it's like, huh?
You know, maybe, because, you know,
they were nice, you know, but no, like, no. If you're not feeling someone, you're not feeling someone, like, you don't have to give it up to no one. Like, you
just don't.
You just don't.
You just don't.
It's, you know, in those situations, it's easier said than done, you know, but you don't. Like, no, you can just say no. Or thank you very much. You know, I had a good time.
The one time I said no, I was insulted so bad. Now I ain't gonna lie, I was so scared.
But this is what I'm saying. Scared. It's like you can't always gauge when you're going to get a positive response if you then say no.
Yeah. And he told me,
you know what I mean?
like the pain that he's in, like the balls, you know, when your dick gets on and you don't release it, and like, you know, and I didn't even know I didn't even know about masturbation like that, to say, like, do it yourself. Oh, get the fuck out of my house, you're fucking in it. But I left, thinking, what the fuck? I was so scared. I ran home, and I was so scared to pass that area just in case he saw me, and like, you know, and it's just like, I was not even 16. I wasn't even 16.
But you see a lot of the times, you know, sometimes there's guys that kind of like just kind of throw their weight around. Like even yesterday I was out. Oh my God, like even yesterday I had a situation. I was out yesterday and a guy asked me for a lighter. I gave him the lighter. But he's close to me, innit? Like, so I'm thinking, like, you're in my personal space. But I can appreciate, you know, everyone's out, they've had a drink, you know, everyone's buzzing, I can appreciate that. But at the same time, you're in my space. We're touching shoulder to shoulder. Like, I don't know you. I don't know you. But now you're talking to me. But now I'm feeling like I have to be polite to engage in this conversation because I don't want to seem like a dick. Because if I seem like a dick, you can switch up on me because I don't know what drugs you're on. I don't know you. I don't know where your mental capacity.
But you see, I guarantee he didn't think that when he came to speak to you.
So you're talking to me. I'm looking at my cousin because I'm thinking my cousin can sense that this situation's a bit like But we're having to make you comfortable so you don't switch on us. How is it okay? And then you're hugging me, but you're getting a bit like, you're getting a bit aggy and a bit aggressive, but I'm having to like smile and tone it down. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to headbutt you. Yeah. But that's how I felt because I just felt, bruv, like, I don't know you. Please.
The amount of violent force that we have on a daily as a woman.
Give me some space.
Like, it's mad. Like, back up.
But I've got to be okay and just smile.
Yeah, because I was like, what's your problem, man? I'm just being friendly. I'm just being, Why are you being so hostile? Like, I'm being friendly. Like, what's your problem?
And it's like, what? That's a trigger for me.
Yeah.
That's a trigger.
I once turned around and said to somebody, do you know where I'm coming from? Like, do you know what my day's been like? And they just looked at me and I just carried on. Like, and this is why I used to wear my hats. I wanted to be invisible. I just wanted to be fucking invisible. Just leave me the fuck alone. Like, you don't have to be cool. And when you're with your child as well. And it's like, you don't want to turn around and say, hey, men ain't shit. Like, I've got 2 sons. Like, I would never turn around and say, men ain't shit. No. But I can understand why many women say
Get to that point.
Yeah.
Just tell the people on the TikTok if they don't want to watch it because it's too sexual for them, just log off. They don't have to report us.
Okay, if you don't want to, sorry guys, I'm just looking at the comments. I've just been told, if it's too much, guys, you can come off. Apologies if it's too much for you guys at this point.
But don't report us.
But
please don't report us because
we're just trying to have like a freedom of speech. It is literally not here to offend anyone. It's a conversation.
And it's our lives, to be honest with you.
And it's lives as well. So it's just trying to, you know,
make people aware
on a non-filtered level.
Yeah.
And as I said, I apologise if it's offended anybody or made anyone feel
uncomfortable
some type of way. It is literally just to kind of bring more awareness. I'm not saying there's no awareness out there for people, but at the same time, you know, we're sharing our experiences because we know there are women out there that have gone through these experiences and they need to have a space to talk about it. We can't keep shoving things under the carpet. Yeah. This is when, you know, these are years and years and years of experiences and trauma that women go through on a daily. So, as I said, it's not here to offend anybody. It is literally just to show, you know, other women out there that they're not on their own and basically to validate their experience as well, because I feel like a lot of the time all these situations have to be pacified and we have to try and make people feel uncomfortable. And unfortunately, I'm here now on a live apologising for things that are real, that happen in real life. And as I said, please don't report us. But at the same time,
empathise with us and
empathise with us on a level and understand that this is real life situations and scenarios. And, you know, as I said, even though I've apologised if it's offended anyone, but I will not apologise for sharing this because at the end of the day, these are women's lives.
Yeah, and we're already being censored enough as women. Please try and allow us to give us a space where we can talk openly and freely about our experiences and other people's experiences without being censored, because unfortunately, this is why we're having to have this, because we are censored so much that there is no space where you can go and talk openly and honestly about your experiences. So please don't get offended by what's being said. There is no offense
nice.
intended at all. Is unfortunately, this is our reality. And it's not just our reality, it's many people's reality. So we're just honestly trying to shed a light on it, but we're not trying to cause offense, we're not trying to cause harm, we're not trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable. So if that's the case, maybe this isn't for you. But I would say, if you feel that this is too much, just think about, this is our life.
We've had to live through it.
Yeah,
We've had to live through it and live by it, and we're
Yeah.
trying to help other people around us, because by us not having a space to talk about our experiences, it has had an impact on our lives. You know what I mean? And we want to try and help other women avoid going down certain routes because of their experiences. Do you know what I mean? Like, and today I've had not even issues, but I had smoking because of it, drinking, reckless behavior, things like that, because of the experiences and the trauma that I've personally experienced. So can we just please hold space for this, because as I said, it's needed. And just because we've used vices and stuff to get through our situations, and that not everyone actually will go through that stages. People will just take their lives. And that is the reality. That is the reality of the situation. I don't want anyone taking their lives over the situation. Part of, with these experiences, part of your life you feel like has been taken already. So let's just help people rebuild themselves and empower themselves, and actually get them to realise that their experiences is not what has made them. They're going to actually be able to get through this, and be able to get through it and support other women as well.
And you know what? One thing I will say is, from every single therapist that I have had, do you know what they've always advised me to do? Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Talk about it openly.
And don't be ashamed, because I think that's what it is. Perpetrators, they're comfortable all the time. Even if there's people that have been through situations and they're still, around certain family members and stuff, and certain conversations can't be said because it's going to make people uncomfortable. Make them feel uncomfortable. You've been made to feel comfortable your whole life. Like, I'm sorry, like, we can't keep protecting these people that are doing these things. Like,
be the change you want to see.
And I want to see change. So if me speaking up and sharing my experiences and being vulnerable is going to help create that, then so be it.
Because it's not going to be for everybody, and maybe you're not there on your journey yet. Maybe you're not ready to listen to it. Maybe you're not ready to hear it, and that's okay too. That's okay too. It took me a really long time to be able to talk about it without crying, without feeling shame, without feeling embarrassed, without guilt. I mean, when I say a long time, I'm talking maybe 3-4 years ago, and it's the more I speak about it, the easier it becomes. And we have to be able to speak about it. We have to be able to speak about our traumas. We have to be able to talk about things that are upsetting us, And a therapist said to me, when you experience trauma over a very long period of time, consistent trauma, you are never going to get over it, in a sense. But what you have to do is you learn how to live with it on a daily basis. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. That doesn't mean to say that you need to be swinging back, a bottle of vodka, Hennessy, whatever, every weekend, or smoking 24/7, or, the nose can. No. What it means is, you've got to find that space within yourself where this has nothing to do with you. It is not your fault. The blame doesn't lie with you. And it's about protecting yourself, not just on the outside, but on the inside, to try and stop these things from happening to you and to other people that you know. And this is all we're trying to do. We're trying to bring that awareness that will help. Hopefully you can get something from it that can help you heal. Yeah.
And healing itself is a journey, it's not a destination. So, you've got to keep this in mind.
Yeah. Basically, being a woman is bloody hard.
It is.
Because we're always having to apologise.
And this is what I'm saying. It's so not fair. It actually isn't fair.
No.
It isn't fair at all. And, these, even though we're talking about things that are kind of like historical for us in terms of our experiences, these experiences are happening in present day
Yeah.
to this generation
Yeah.
of young people coming up. At the end of the day, if we keep having to close our mouth, who is going to be there to protect them? Because these kids are already desensitized. These kids already think that how certain people or the things that they're going through are acceptable.
Yeah.
They already feel it's acceptable. That's why they're not talking about it.
I mean, I've
So
seen
if
primary school children share nudes.
like no one's talking because we're just so desensitized. No one talks about it. You know, parents don't have, you know, I'm not saying all parents, but, you know, parents, families, we don't talk about these things. And even historically, you know, when it comes to things like trauma or abuse or things that are kind of sexualized, you know, we don't speak about it. It's very like, we don't have those conversations.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you know?
Sex in that is very taboo, you know.
Listen, when I found my son watching porn, well, I didn't find him, but I used to, and if you don't do this as a parent and you've got a child in the house, it blows my mind. You go through their stuff. Any technological device that they use, I would go through and see. And you know that it would turn purple, so I'd literally follow to the video that you watched. I didn't get mad. I didn't get angry. We sat down because that means you're ready for a conversation now because you're looking at things. So let's have a conversation. I remember we were talking about porn and what you see in the videos, and I had that conversation. I said, listen, what you see in these videos is not real life. Please don't think that this is any type of acceptable behavior to go and present to a female. Please don't think that it's okay to treat a woman like this and da-da-da-da. Like, this is not real life. I'm a woman and I'm telling you, this is not real life. I don't care what the people out there on the street tell you, what your friends tell you. As your mother, as a woman, I'm telling you, this is not real. This is like a movie. It's some type of quick entertainment. It's not, it has no value to it whatsoever. Yeah, make your money and that, but at the end of the day, it's this is why we have porn for women now as well. You have porn specifically for women because a lot of the porn that's out there is just, yeah, I'm just going to do what I want to you and now you see all these grandmas and it's just like, we live in a world where women are so sexualized that when you talk about feeling uncomfortable being sexualized, you start to get censored. Because it's like society makes it like this should be the norm, this is your place. And it's like, who decided that? Why do I not get a say in my place in society?
Exactly.
Why am I being told I have to do this and I have to be... Do you know what I mean? It's like if I decide to wear a suit to, let's say, to an all-black event as a female, why would you want to wear a suit? Like, and I remember as a kid, all I ever wanted, some Barbie dresses and that. No, all I ever wanted was a suit. When I discovered Oswald Boateng, I said to Daniel, please, if there's one thing you do in your life, yeah, just have a suit by Oswald Boateng. Like, I would love a three-piece suit. More so than a ball gown. Do you know what I mean? And it's that I still feel safe with masculine energy. Same. When I go outside, I feel this rush of masculine energy come over me because I feel that's the only way I can keep myself safe.
And I feel myself doing that. You know, it's like kind of conscious thought process when you're out and about. You know, shoulders back. You know, don't head up. Like walk.
Mean mugging.
Look how. No, babe, I'll get out my words. Look like you're supposed to be where you are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's that type of energy, like you belong here.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes that kind of helps. But as I said, it's very hard because as a female, sometimes you do feel like you're having to put on that kind of masculine facade to protect yourself. And then sometimes it kind of sticks and stays, and then it's almost like, oh, okay, where is the feminine part of me? Like, where's that gone?
Yeah. But then I come home and then there it is. Oh, I left her at home because she's safe at home.
She's safe at home.
Yeah, it's not safe to bring her out. Even like as an adult, going out at night, like, and I'd go out with me and my friends, you know, like, and people like today, different type of mentality. Because you remember, no one gets left behind. No one. We all came together. We is leaving together. One thing that I don't do, I don't get in a cab by myself. If I do, I'm on the phone to somebody and I'm letting the cab driver know. Yes,
share it.
Yes, and this is me at my big 42-year-old age. I do not get in cabs by myself because I remember when I was going through my 20s, cab drivers. There was a whole thing about cab drivers taking your money, raping you, then taking you to the cash machine and taking money from you. Do you remember them times?
Yeah, actually, I remember. I actually thought about that.
I didn't want to be involved in, so you know what? I will take the bus. No matter how drunk I will be, I will take the bus because that gives me time to sober up as well. But I will never get drunk to the point where I can't defend myself, which is you can never go out and just have fun. But
then that should be literally a standard rule. Like even when you're going out, you know, make sure that you're all kind of safe. If you are going separately, like keep in contact, like definitely things like that, you know, and just avoid you know, just avoid certain areas, like kind of spaces. But even that, you know, it's still censoring where it's like, you have to do this,
Listen,
you have to do this,
that.
and you should do this, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, and generally, people just be decent and just don't trouble no one. Like, that's how, you know, in the ideal world, you wish you could just be like that. Just don't trouble no one.
Yeah, because you don't know what people are dealing with. You don't know what
not
people are dealing with. And you know what? You might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then what? I mean, I've known people and parents, and they've sent their children back home because their children has been involved in some kind of sexual assault scandal and they don't want their child to... I told my son, listen, I will be the first person to hand you in. Like,
Just me. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
You'll
care.
be the first person. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, even with that though, like, I've been in certain situations where I've had to stop myself from acting or reacting the way that I would like to I wouldn't even say protect other people, but you know, as I say, sometimes people want to have things that hush, they don't want to talk about it, it's going to embarrass the family, but I'm just like, but have you not thought about the effects that it's had on that person? Why are we trying to save grace with everybody else?
And who fucking cares?
And sometimes as well, like, even if you don't want them to go to the police, like, I don't condone violence, but sometimes...
Mash them up! Do you know what? I'll be very honest, okay? Me personally... right?
It's just, yeah.
The first man who abused me is dead.
Okay.
And so someone said to me, but aren't you happy he's dead? I said, no. Why would I be happy that he's dead? I still have to live.
Yeah.
It's finished. It's done. He's done.
His
Do you know what I mean? I'm very much... Because you know this whole, you're going to be judged by a jury of your peers. It didn't happen to them. Why are they deciding? It didn't happen to them. Yeah, it happened to me. So if you found them guilty, okay, now I get to decide what's done with them. Why are you deciding what's done with them? How does that even make sense? They didn't do jack to you. They did it to me, but I have no say in what happens to them. Like, I don't understand how that makes sense. I really don't understand how that makes sense. I mean, you just got to look at people like R. Kelly. R. Kelly got away with so much shit, doing so much shit to so many women. Yeah, and he married Aaliyah and it was all out there and everyone was speaking about it, but what was done about it? Nothing.
It's all about money.
Yeah, but what chance do we have? It's everywhere. You tell me if someone can say a place where women can go and be safe.
But then this is the thing. It's like, for me, I always fear that kind of scenario where it's like, if, you know, what if it was a case where people were actually to stand up to themselves? And I'm not just talking about that. End of the day, these things happen to men as well. But we're just talking it from a perspective that, you know, from that scenario. But what if people were then to react in them situations? How is that going to be dealt fairly? Because if I've been attacked by someone and then I'm in a situation where I'm defending myself and that person gets killed, I'm going to prison.
Yeah, for manslaughter. Yeah, I know. Have you seen the series?
But then if someone does
that's
something to, you know, abuses another person, and even if it does go through the court process, and more time it doesn't even, sometimes you even get that far. Yeah, because and sometimes it's seen prison, as red tape.
Yeah, you ain't serving a full sentence.
And you're not serving a full sentence. Like, you're not. You're still.
Yeah.
You still got some life.
Yeah.
Like, whereas literally, that person that you've messed around with, you've taken it. You've taken
a big part of their life, and they can never get it back. Time is something you can never
and it
get
affects
back.
So many different areas of their life, like even down to even like women that may have been slightly attacked, you know, not even slightly, like attacked on the street, you know, or, you know, touched inappropriately, things like that. You know, someone might think, oh, that's just small, but imagine a young girl that's minding her own business. This is a big person, like no one's taught, like what now I've got to be fearful of every person that I might interact with now.
Have you seen the movie? Not movie, series. The Power. Is it Power or The Power? On Amazon. And it was, you said, what would if women would fight back? So this show addresses that. So basically, females start getting this power, and they can pass on the power to other females, and it's some new bone thing in their collarbone or whatever, and they can emit electricity, high voltages of electricity that can kill people. And so now women have this power. So, and it's literally like that. They feel, because it's like no longer are we to be told what to do, or, you know, have to listen to men, get assaulted. And, you know, there's one episode, I think it's the first episode, and this black girl, she doesn't talk. And like, she's living in a foster house and the man is sexually abusing her and she kills him, but she runs away and they're looking for her and she's the bad person. And it's like, that's how it is for many people. When I spoke up, my mum was just like, no. And I remember, what do you think was so sexually attractive about you as a child that a grown man is going to want you? And when you know, a lot of people think it's a sexual thing, and it's nothing to do with sex.
Thing.
It's all to do with power, because it's the same thing as butt breaking. It ain't nothing to do with the sex. It's to do with the power that you have over another person, you know. And this is how you gain dominance over another person. It's like when a dog is humping your leg. It's not humping your leg because it's like, oh, you're sexy, you're attractive. You know, it's because it's like, you my bitch now.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because when a dog tries to hump another dog, that's not that can be a fight.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like, that's what it's about. It's about power. And so it's like, we women have to take our power back. But how do we do that without causing ruckus, without causing, you know, a massive uprising and rebellion? You know, it's about taking up space and being confident taking up space. If you see another female going through something, don't look around and wait for someone to step in. Step in. Because there is always, what's it in numbers? What's what I'm looking for?
There's power in numbers?
Yeah, that's it. There's power in numbers. Definitely. Do you know what I mean? Rather than standing there filming it and posting it on your social media, step in. Help.
Say something.
Yeah, I remember seeing a little girl on her way to school. This guy, sitting there. And it's like he was waiting for her. When I say little girl, the girl must have been about 7 years old. And he approached her and he took stuff out, like toys or something, to give to her. And I was really disturbed, you know, because, like, you can tell he wasn't part of her community at all. And then, like, she was trying to ignore him and walk away from him. And he was trying to give her stuff and it was falling on the floor and he was picking it up and giving it to her. And she was just feeling so, like, you could see it. And then he walks off smiling. And I really thought, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And you know, I came into work and I asked people and I was like, no, fuck it, I'm calling the school. So I called the school and I told them what I had seen, and we went back and forth, you know, and they're asking me, you know, all these questions and stuff because they were actually going to report it. And I was so happy. And I thought, you know what? That I felt better. And every day when I'm at that bus stop, I always look. I always keep my eye out in case I see that guy again, because it's just like...
And that's the reality, do you know what I mean? We have to be...
Vigilant.
And, you know, to have that kind of old school kind of community outlook.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember when I was a kid, you couldn't do nothing without someone seeing.
By the time you get home, it's home. I mean, they have mobiles.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, that is the case. Like, I'm that person. If I see something that's not inappropriate, I will say, you know, it doesn't mean you have to go in all guns blazing, but just to show that in that situation that you have been a witness of that situation, like, yeah, that's not okay. Yeah.
Ask that young girl,
are you okay?
Do you need a bit of help? You know,
that type of thing. Because no, girls are going through all the time. You know, when you're, especially during the summer, like summer holidays now as well, like, you know, have your vigilance, like parks and car parks and things like that. Do you know what I mean? These are where these types of situations happens. And if you've got young girls, you know, explain to them, you know, yeah, you might have a group of friends that say that you're people, but, you know, at the same time, certain things can happen where people will set you up. Yeah. And it happens, do you know what I mean? People get bored. It's just...
Because when shit goes down, and these people are going to be the ones to have your back. Because if these people are not the people to have your back, they are not your people. It's literally that simple. They are not your people. It takes a village to raise a kid, and it really does. And that's not just because kids are difficult. That's because you need to be looking out for them. We need to be looking out for them. Do you know what I mean? When you see a young girl behaving in a way, don't feel no way to go, like, babes, like, you're too cute for that. Do you know what I mean? You're too cute to behave this way. Don't let people get the best of you like that. Do you know what I mean? We got to teach our girls from young how to protect yourself. We shouldn't have to, but unfortunately we do. And being oblivious to it is not helping the situation. Like, it stresses me when I see, like, 5-year-olds in bikinis. Like, it stresses me. It does, because it's like,
but
why are you in a bikini?
But it shouldn't do, but because of how things are now, it does. Do you know what I mean? Well, we've even got to the point of society that you can't even take a picture of your baby in the bath. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, my sister took a picture of her daughter to show me how she's grown, and because she went fully dressed, I said, you need to delete that from your phone, because God forbid if you lose your phone or anybody sees that on your phone.
And that's ridiculous. It's a baby. But because of how things are, it's like, what?
Like, listen, my son got really, really bad nappy rash. No, not nappy rash. He had his circumcision. And like, I wasn't sure, you know, if it was okay, whatever. So I had to take a picture and send it to my friend. And then we had to delete it quickly because it was just like full on baby penis on the phone. Like, you can't be having that on the phone. And it's just like, it's for medical, like, and it's just like so many things are so scary now when you have children. Do you know what I mean? It's so scary what you can and cannot do. So it's like, educate your children. Don't trust the world to educate your child. Don't trust schools to educate your child. Don't trust social media. Please, social media is not your child's friend. Like, it's not. Social media is fun. You remember we used to play outside? That's what social media is. It's playing outside. It's not real. Do you know what I mean? You cannot fall in love with somebody you've never met in person.
And that is another thing as well, like in terms of just bringing safety as well, like because of that whole culture of online, you know, there's so many, even young people that we, you know, that I know that have full-blown relationships on social media, and I'm like, have you met them? But they're like, no, and I'm like, but how?
But they've been in a 3-year relationship.
How have you been in a relationship? But you know, it's the new generation. I won't understand it. We wasn't brought up that way. No. It's just, obviously that's just probably how things are. But even in terms of that, you know, be careful who you're speaking to online as well, because people can gas you up and say the most. Like, they can tell you everything that you want to hear. And this is not even just for young girls. This is for big women as well, because I know big women that get caught up.
Oh, do you want to hear a tip that I heard for
Please
big
don't
women?
get caught up.
Yeah, no. And one way not to get caught up is do not put what you are looking for. I saw this on a TikTok video from a woman. Don't put on your dating profile what you're looking for in a relationship, because that gives somebody all the information to build themselves up to be the perfect person for you. And it's like, you're not seeing them, you're seeing them through your eyes. They're showing you.
They're just mirroring what you want to see, basically. And another tip as well, if a man is gassing you up and talking about all the materialistic things he has, it's a red flag. He ain't got shit. Because if you've got, you ain't telling people that you've got. And I always say that it's a massive, massive online red flag. You're getting bank statements or saying this or whatever this, and I've got this and got that. You ain't got nothing.
I know.
And even
if you see
still,
the designer labels all at the front of the clothing,
just no. Just red flag. Avoid.
No, yeah.
So, you know. And just another tip as well, you know, just generally if there are guys watching this, you know, can you please just be mindful how you approach women when you're on the roads, please.
Just think, of your mum, your sister, your aunt, your gran. Yeah, because they were all the ages at one point in time. Do you know what I mean?
And even if you've got daughters, you know, think about this as well. You know, if you are acting this same stink way towards women, people are doing that to your children. Like, you know, you're not the exception. Like, you are not.
Because you can't say, oh, I want to buy a shotgun now, I've got a daughter. Why? Because you know the kind of men that are out there. Why do you know the kind of men that are out there? Because you were once one of those kind of men who disrespected somebody else's daughter. And now you're worried that somebody else is going to disrespect your daughter. The simple solution to that is don't disrespect people's kids. It's literally that simple. Like, I've dated men who, do you know what? You're not really, like, you know, I've grown to appreciate you through time, because looking at you, you know what I mean, your personality is, you know, it's like you got potential. So we're gonna do a fixer-upper. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you would do that, and then they want to start acting fun, and it's like, we never turn around and say, but listen, yeah, I did this for you, I fixed you up, I did it. We don't do that, and we need to start doing that more. Like, women, don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Tell a man, you weren't shit when I met you. Do you know what I mean? Because don't be that jump off girl. I've been a jump off girl quite a few times, and it's pissed me off because they come to you all raggedy and shit, and then you fix them up and have them looking all cute and shit for them to then go off with somebody else and live that type of life that they said they were going to live with you. No, thank you. You see, this relationship I have, this is the safest I've ever felt in my entire life.
And you know what? The bars get stronger when it starts to get colder as well. So be safe. Be safe.
Oh, I laugh because it's true.
Be safe.
And when everyone wants to cuddle up, innit?
Be safe.
Be safe, people. Be safe. Don't feel away about looking around your surroundings and let people seeing that you're being aware of your surroundings. Don't be embarrassed about that, man. Look out for yourself and look out for one another, because at the end of the day, that's all we have is one another.
Exactly.
Literally, that is all we have. Yeah, before phones came about, we had to, you know, word of mouth. When you see something going down, don't just take out your phone and start recording it. Intervene. do something about it. Be the change you want to see. Don't wait for somebody else to come and change shit, because you're going to be waiting a long ass freaking time.
Exactly. And anyone that, you know, has experienced any of the scenario stories,
scenario
experiences that we've spoke about today, I see you. Continue your healing. You've absolutely got this.
You really have got this.
Absolutely got this. And, you know, it's a journey. And it's just about self-love and just pushing and, you know, trying to put as much love into yourself as possible.
Because it can't rain all the time, man.
You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But, you know, find your tribe. Find, you know, some positive women around you that are not going to make you feel that, you know, that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're too much or you're extra or whatever, you know. And you will find your tribe. You know, it's taken me, years... But I found my tribe, and you know what it is as well. When you find your tribe of women, you know, especially women that share similar experiences that you have as well, the power and the strength, you will not see strength like that.
No, you won't.
And it's just
it is beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful
because you will lift each other up, support each other. There is no hate. And then it's that genuine. I care about you. I want you to succeed, because if you don't succeed, I don't succeed.
And that's it, because we're all connected at the end of the day, and that's, you know, if we all try and have this mentality where it's a case where, you know, you don't see someone bigger or better than you. We're all connected. We're all as one. So even if you may visually, you know, think that someone's on a higher level than you in your perception, that is still you. You are experiencing that, just in a different body. If that makes sense. Yeah. So you know, if you're out there on holiday, I'm on holiday too.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm living it through your snaps.
I'm living
it through your stories. Like, we're on holiday together.
We're all together. We're all one. You know, so. We just have to just try our best, you know, as I said, to empower each other, love on each other, because that is what's going to conquer. Yeah. That is literally what's going to conquer through all of this bullshit, to be fair. You know,
literally.
It's love.
It
really
is.
We just have to
an appreciation of self. 100%. Love yourself, because you know what? There is no greater love than self-love. No one is ever going to love you more or better than you love yourself. And it's a process, it's a journey, it takes time, but you have to start it from somewhere. It's not about what you look like on the outside, it's about how you feel about yourself on the inside. You can be a size 8, you can be a size 18, it doesn't matter. You can still be the baddest bitch in the place. And when I'm talking about bitch, I'm talking Missy Elliott bitch, babe in total control of herself. That's the bitch I'm talking about.
That's the bitch I know.
You know, so because I'm not a dog, so do you know what I mean? And it's about speaking up when you see something or feel something isn't right. Say it. The worst thing that can happen is someone disagrees with you, and then that's it. That's the worst that can happen. Or
get licked down, but sometimes that lick down may have been deserved as well. So you know, don't feel some type of way. You know, when things happen, speak up on it. If you don't feel that this is right, tell that person. No, I actually don't. No, this is not okay.
Also, there was no shame in therapy. And that's particularly with the black community. There is no shame, because you know what? If your leg is hurting you, you're going to see a doctor, If your knee is hurting you, you're going to go and see a doctor. But if things aren't feeling great up here, you're going to pray. And no disrespect to religion. Like, religion is great. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I respect all religions and people's choices to have whatever religion they want. But if you're religious, right, you got to look at it like this. God gave people the intelligence to be able to look after ourselves, from head to toe. Same way as you would trust, that God sent you to this doctor to go and help you heal your foot. Why can't then God make people smart enough to understand how the brain works and to help you function with that? There ain't no shame in saying, do you know what? I'm struggling. I have been through it. I am struggling. You don't have to be full on raped to be sexually assaulted, for it to disturb you, for it to bother you. It doesn't have to be like that. Rape is penetration, whether it be an item, a finger, a mouth, and I'm sorry if that's crude for a lot of people, but rape is a penetration. Okay, without penetration, sexual assault, it still comes onto sexual assault, but this is graphic sexual assault. And it's not okay. Even if it's, it is not okay. Or you can be like, well, he just groped me, or he just shoved his tongue. No. It's sexual assault. And you can report it. Okay? Don't feel, but, no, did it cause you distress? Yes, then it's a problem.
And can I just make a point as well? Because obviously we have spoke about, we have focused this on women, but even for men, and women as well, I just want to shout out, when you're out as well, just because a man is a man, the respect has to be both sides, because I do see a lot of women, you know, a guy might be nice and they feel like, oh, I can just touch you, and there still has to be consent. Yeah, there still has to be consent.
Oh, he got some
as well.
muscles. Oh.
Because, you know, a guy might not see it as that thing, but they've been assaulted too. Yeah, and just because he might not say anything and he's a man, it's
doesn't
not warranted. It doesn't make it okay. Yeah? So it's for both sides. If someone don't want to be touched, don't touch them. If they haven't asked you to touch them, don't touch them.
Can I just say one more thing? So, gym. Yeah. Gym clothing. Like, we know what we do when we wear them skimpy ass things to the gym. Like, come on, ladies. Another thing that's been bugging me: leggings. Leggings. When you buy leggings, get the legging, put your hand through it and stretch it through. If you can see your skin through those leggings, right? I can
see your ass.
And it's literally that simple. As soon as you bend over, or not even bend over, if you're a size, 12, and you buy a size 10, know that I'm gonna see your ass. Okay? Nobody asked to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Okay? You know, and it's like, when you go to the gym, please, I beg you, don't be wearing skimpy, and then you got all the sweat glistening, and a man's gonna be watching you, and you're gonna be complaining, but why is he watching me? It's like, yo, I would watch you too. And I don't mean it in a rude way, but it's just like, sometimes let's not shine a spotlight on ourselves. We're going into a place. Let's just be mindful that we are going into a public space. Yeah, it's not as my mum say, it's not a fashion show. You're not
going to see the queen.
You're going to get buff. That's why you're going there, to get buff. You know, you might find a man in the gym, but if you're looking all scantily clad, the man approaches you. He ain't approaching you because he thinks your workout is solid. He approaches you because he thinks, oh, that bund is growing, yeah? Them squats are doing you good, yeah? Do you want some assistance with them squats? Let me just squat behind you. No.
He's already done 3 rounds of you in his head.
Yeah, because you've advertised everything that you've got on display already, so he already knows what's underneath the packaging. We've got to leave some things to the imagination. Don't give them everything. Do you know what I mean? We've got to leave some, you know, are these titties real or is it a pad? Ooh, who knows?
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? You got to leave some of it to the imagination. Don't put everything all out there for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Leave some for your husband.
Yeah.
Leave something for your wife.
Yeah.
Please.
Because as much as I love seeing men in them little shorts at the gym and your vest, like, where are you going for real? Where are you going?
Exactly.
Like honestly, where are you going? Because I know you didn't come out your house like that. Because when I see you leaving gym, you got all tracksuit bottom on and a hoodie on. Do you see why I'm getting confused? Because it's like me coming in here now. Okay, I'm inside. Let me take off my top and sit here in my underwear because I'm inside. And like,
it's not appropriate.
Because it's not my house.
Yeah, I know what's appropriate and what's not.
Yeah, stay safe.
Exactly. But guys, this is a Just Cool Radio, disturbing the silence and catching the eye of many. We are going to wrap up. Just before we end, just to let you know that there's an open mic happening at the Jungle Bar at 133 Stockwell Road on Tuesday.
The 1st
of August. And the postcode is SW990N, starting at 8 p.m. to 11:30.
£10 tickets and booking info.
And more on the door.
Yeah. Radio voice.
But guys, so this is my lovely guest, Abbey. Thank you so much.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And guys, we'll see you next month. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Trust me, stay safe.
Yeah.